we are sitting with the PRO of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, Mr. DaBreo. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Welcome to Daybreak.
Once again.
Once again. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a pleasure.
I'm liking the colors. You know, he's giving me a nice wake-up feeling this morning.
Well, you know, you come on these programs, you have to sort of try your best to look as good as possible.
Definitely,
you know.
definitely.
Going well.
And you do the same.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave you.
That's fine.
Oh,
All right,
goodness.
so we here this morning to talk about the budget.
Yeah.
All right, and well, I guess the Grenada hotel and tourism industry's view on it.
Well, I think that the budget is a very soft budget. Especially the tourism sector, we were hoping to see more being put into tourism. First of all, we're talking a budget of, they said they increased it by $2 million to $19 million, but the actual amount last year came up to about $11.7 million, which in tourism these days, that just doesn't cut it.
Right.
And, then they incorporated the tourism budget part of it with the cultural budget, and they make it sound as if, you know, it's
bigger.
It's huge. But the reality of it is that this year's budget is $19 million. I mean, I know cash is hard to find. I mean, everybody, but tourism is known as a very fickle industry, and but it's one of the industries, together with agriculture, that has the highest rebound, and especially tourism. And I mean, we can go back and as far back as Ivan in 2004, and where the industry, in fact, Grenada itself was just more or less devastated. And the industry that bounced back the quickest, other than, let's say, construction that was there to rebuild, the tourism industry has rebounded. And it would have been in a better position today, other than the fact that we have now the global recession. So it is an industry that needs to be crafted, nurtured, and it needs a certain amount of money put into the industry to get to know where Grenada is. Grenada has a lot to offer. We've been preaching those songs for a long time, and you know, not everybody listens. And the thing is that it's an industry that is looked at upon as, well, those hotel guys are fat cats. You know, and today, Grenada, I mean, you travel, Grenada is not known well internationally.
Sure.
And to be able to reach these markets, you need to spend money. I mean, we look at our neighbors at St. Lucia, we look at Barbados, and they're involved in things. They're involved in a lot. Their budgets are 5 times our budgets. We don't have the money, yes. So obviously we may not be able to put the same spend, but the force behind it is that we need to come up with we need to reach at least the budget itself, at least $30 million.
Right.
Even St. Vincent, our neighbor, closest neighbor, has a bigger budget than Grenada.
Wow.
And airlift, well, that's incorporated into the budget too, and it's not Grenada alone that pays for airlines to come. So it's something that is not new to the region. And of course, with all the new taxes that are put on these airlines now, it makes it especially Grenada, a destination that is more difficult to attain in terms of costing. A friend of mine who's an agent in Toronto we always debate, and we back and forth, and I said, you know, if I'm a Canadian and I want to leave Toronto area or wherever, and I'm looking at your website and you're offering tickets to go to the Caribbean, and you send all these flyers out, and I'm looking to go to Barbados from Toronto, it's 500 Canadian, and it is 800 or more to get to Grenada. Where would I go? So these are the things that we face. I mean, it's something that we have to deal with, and that comes with a bit more intervention with government, maybe better landing fees into Grenada that would help keep the cost down, a bit more, you know, working together with the airlines in terms of helping them promote Grenada specific, being more progressive, more proactive, and it takes money. It takes money, and yes, there are new ways now of dealing rather than hard print. You know, everybody in the years ago would do, you know, magazines and put out there and whatnot. Now we have a lot more internet, and everybody's using that. But you still need a certain amount of media in terms of television and a certain amount of paper coverage, because you're reaching a population of the world. We have to look at diversing our product into bringing people not just from North America or the UK. We have to look at even like Barbados, looking at Brazil, and you know, emerging countries that have spending power that they can come to Grenada and enjoy a different culture.
Right.
The Caribbean on the whole is advertising and promoting through the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. And they are promoting the Caribbean as one Caribbean. But then it's segments.
Of course.
Each island has to promote themselves. You know, I've heard a lot of debates over the years where they say, why doesn't the hoteliers advertise? When we look at the hotels in Grenada and we take a collective amount, we would say you're in somewhere around $7 to $10 million, which is spent individually and collectively by the hotels.
Advertising.
That's advertising their own property. And where the Board of Tourism comes in is that the Board of Tourism advertises the destination. Right? They are not there to advertise your business, my business. I have to do that on my own. And as your previous guest was saying, it's about trying to maximize how you go about getting most bang for your buck, as you said,
Right.
you know, in the industry, or heads and beds. And of course, in this global downturn, some of the belief that reducing rates isn't the way to go, but maybe you can offer other services. I mean, everybody uses what works for them.
Right.
And you have to know your own niche and your market to know, well, should I add more or should I discount to be able to get and still maybe add more? And this is the area that where Grenada is in right now. Grenada, unfortunately, has had to reduce their rates, the hotel rates nightly, significantly to be able to get the traffic here and also to offset some of the airline costs. Because, I mean, when you're leaving to go on a holiday, you basically are going to take a whole package. Well, not necessarily a package, but you're looking at the whole total cost. And basically, you're looking at your airline, what it'll cost you for your 5 days or a week, and inclusive of maybe car rental and, you know, meals and what, you know, and you look at all of these factors before you might make a choice of where to go. And we have choices. So leaving to go to Barbados or Trinidad, well, not necessarily Trinidad, Tobago or even St. Lucia, we have to be able to be in the mix. And people have to know that we are there and that we have a product that they would love.
Right.
Second to none, like being in heaven. So,
Right, of
you know,
course.
and this is where the marketing dollars that the government gives, you know, the subvention to the Board of Tourism to market. One of the problems that we face there too is the fact that money is not usually given on a timely matter so that the board can really target and go forward with their with whatever proposals that they have outside for marketing of the destination.
Okay.
And without that, it's like you working here, but if you don't have a budget, you basically cannot get what you want to achieve because you don't have that ready cash up front to be able to go out and say, listen, this is what I want to do. You ask for a deposit. Here's the deposit. When is the next payment due? So that you're working all these things so that as you go along, you're making the money to be able to put, you know, into the industry.
And your credit only goes so far.
Yeah,
as well, right?
yeah. I mean, we've been crying out for quite a while now to government. We've cried out to Grenlec that pretty soon you'll be owning the keys because the electricity cost in Grenada is just totally ridiculous right now, and there is no short-term relief. And we are presently trying to lobby Grenlec to try and do something for the industry and, you know, the whole of Grenada, but predominantly the industry. I mean, we have no control of electricity in terms of what you might do as a guest.
Right.
You come in, you spend 3 nights in a hotel. If you choose to spend the whole day in the room and just leave the ACs on all day because you're there, we have no control of that, so there is a cost of that. What we have control of is basically the surroundings, and I think we have a session next week with Grenlec in terms of them trying to show us how, you know, conservation and things like that on electricity. I mean, we are going in with open eyes, and but I think that most of us, most hoteliers will tell you that they are in conservation mode right now, and they have been for some time. Because a lot of these things are also things that have come out through Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. They have, you know, over the years recommended how can you keep electricity, water costs and everything down. And they have pamphlets and booklets out that kind of guides you as things that you should do.
As a quick side question,
Yeah.
one of the guests that we had on the show argued that it may not be so much Grenlec than it might be the fuel cost.
Yes, I know. I mean, yes, Grenlec has said that, and I know the fuel cost is high, but there's a certain amount of profitability that everybody has.
Right.
And because they are a monopoly right now, they're forced not to do that.
Okay.
Cable and Wireless used to say the same thing a few years ago until Digicel came in. And when
Right.
Digicel came in, all of a sudden, everybody is on their phone more because the rates are down, and I'm sure that both Cable and Wireless and Digicel is making the same money, or probably more because people are talking more.
Right.
So in the same breath, we are not trying to say you waste electricity, but there are ways. I mean, for example, the legislation also gives Grenlec the ability and the right that even if you go solar, what they might pay back on the grid, when you balance it out, it doesn't equate. So I mean, there is ways. What we're looking at right now is a quick fix for the next 2 to 3 years, which will carry us through this downturn where we have had. I mean, for example, if we close all the hotel doors in Grenada, Grenlec will cry, because we represent about 40 to 50% of their power supply.
Okay.
In the industry, right? And all we're asking for is an ease up.
Right.
We're not saying it's the same as we've gone to the banks. Ease up on certain things. In another year or two, when things start to bounce back, yes, you come back to the table and you say, okay, we have assisted you in these areas. Now we'd like to go back to normal, hopefully some normal ways. And you know, after a recession, like we're in the recession now, it's going to take a few years before Grenada gets back to some sort of area, some sort of way where we can stand on our own feet.
Right.
We have had,
Right.
you know, I've looked back over the years. You're talking 2001 when you had September 11, and then you had, which created a world sort of downturn in movement of people because of, you know, what happened in New York. And then we got hit by Ivan. So we really didn't get a chance to sort of come out of the 2001 situation. Then we got hit by Ivan in 2004. That devastated the whole island. The hoteliers spent millions of dollars rebuilding, and of course we came out with the slogan, you know, build back better, and the product was good. You know, the product was good because a lot of people have said, like, and that was through the Caribbean, that the product prior to that was getting a little stale. And this is the thing in this industry, you need to keep your product up.
Right.
If you don't, people start turning away.
Right.
People are looking for, you know, upgrades every year, every 2 years. They want to see something new. And when you deal with your clients and your guests all the time, they tell you that.
Right.
You know, they will say, you know, I used to go to this other place, and because they haven't done anything in the last 3-4 years that I've been there, I've decided, you know, let me spend my money somewhere else.
Right.
Now, in light of the budget, what has the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, what are your plans now, given that the money that is allotted for tourism is not what you expect it to be? What are the specific plans now moving forward to conserve, you know, the funds that are available?
Well, within the last 6 months, we came up with a budget for sort of immediate action plan going forward. And that was developed, Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, together with the Board of Tourism. So we're hoping now that the budget is read, part of this action plan will be put into place.
Okay.
Which, to some degree, would involve a bit of Karani and, you know, people
Okay.
who are known outside, you know, possibly even Lewis Hamilton if he's still talking to us.
Right. Right.
Because this impacts heavily on Grenada in terms of people knowing where the destination is, because Karani's from Grenada, and we hope that, you know, we all have his support. We're pushing as much as we can to give him that backing, and hopefully in the Olympics this year, in July, that he will shine and carry Grenada like how Usain Bolt, you see. I mean, everybody knows who Usain Bolt is, even though you're not a track and field person, and you know that he's from Jamaica. I mean, yes, Jamaica uses that, just like how from way back with Bob Marley.
Right.
You have a lot of Jamaican icons that have, you know, gone over the years, and we're hoping that Grenada, this is a new trend. It's a start where we can use some of our top athletes or people in the industry that have a name that is recognized internationally to say, you know what, come to Grenada.
Right.
Grenada, that's where it is. That's where things are. And again, you know, the GHTA, we have, what can I say, we have been pushing as much as we can with even the budget that we have, because our budget basically comes out of dues from the different properties. Although now we are pushing now at what we call a $1 a day program, whereby we're asking the guests to put $1 US per day to contribute to the development of the industry in terms of staff being trained properly, product development being done, so that at the end of the day, when you come back to Grenada, you will notice a difference.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
We're trying to get that going.
And that's well received by the guests?
The hotels that are on board, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The option is yours also.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's you as a guest, you would either say yes, or I want to partake, or I don't want to partake, because you're not forcing anything on you.
Okay.
But so far, the hotels that are taking part have been able to realize quite a few dollars, and we are hoping with more properties to come on board that we can probably come out with some sort of assistance, you know, to help promote ourselves. In the shortfall of where the government can't come up with it, we're hoping that, you know, in a year or so, we would have enough funds that the Hotel and Tourism Association will actually start to promote Grenada, which is not really our mandate, because we're really there. If we're doing any promotion, is to promote our members, which is, you know, the various hotels and you know, various ancillary companies. But of course, if Grenada doesn't, people don't know where Grenada is, then you know, you're sort of promoting on your own in the dark, you know.
So we have to help ourselves.
We're trying to help
yeah,
ourselves to
exactly.
do certain things.
You said sometimes people ask the hoteliers to do the advertising and so on. Is their advertising affected by how much the country, the destination is promoted?
Yes, it does. Especially the bigger properties. I know that they spend well over $1 million each. You know, some of the bigger properties, but they have more precise target markets. But still, a certain amount of that would come from the fact that people get to know about Grenada because of the destination marketing that the border tourism is supposed to do. You know, every small property or every large property in Grenada, as we have, you know, you're hoping that with your marketing dollars together with the board's marketing dollars together, you'll be able to have something that can showcase Grenada.
Right.
And Grenada hotels have done well, and that has done well for Grenada in terms of, you know, print outside that, you know, Spice Inn has won another award again, or Calabash this year, or Koyaba has done, you know. So, I mean, and these things go a long way.
I actually saw one of those, well, what I saw in New York, I was walking along the streets and I saw a taxi drive by with a Grenada and American Airlines sitting on top. I was quite surprised to see that.
Yeah,
It was
Well, that is something new that came about last year. It's new, it's innovative. I think that it captures that segment of the market, which is the northeast corridor of the U.S., which is predominantly Grenada's highest percentage of tourists that come right now. So that captures that. I have heard that it's also in the Miami area.
Yes, it is.
And I'm pretty sure it's probably in London and things like that. So we're getting a bit more aggressive, a bit more proactive. But these things cost money, and we need you know, you need a bigger budget to go with that. You know, but on top of that, we do have a beautiful product, and we are persistent, and we keep going.
One final quick question is that the budget that you have, the 2/3 of what you want, is that predominantly for advertising the destination, or does it have other purposes?
No, that budget runs the board and pays everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's really allocated for tourism is part of that.
All right, it's part of that. Okay.
Part of that. In the budget came out the fact that there's going to be this international brand hotel. I find that not enough was spoken about it, because at the end of the day, as the Hotel Association, we have pushed that, yes, Grenada does need a name brand signature type hotel, and even if the government has to front it and, you know, hand it over to a management company like some of the other countries do. So in a sense, I'm glad to hear that, but I wanted to get some more information as to what they have done so far and who they have been able to attract, and how far they've gotten, and when do we expect to see it, because leading up to that basically will start the promotion of this signature hotel, brand hotel, which will promote Grenada. So even though you're subsidizing on one hand, but you're getting promotions on the other, and which will bring forward Grenada as a destination that you want it to be. Together with that hotel project, I would like to see the golf course, a proper signature golf course that will attract people here to Grenada. And I don't know if you know, in terms of golf, people in North America and Europe travel just to play golf. The holiday part of it is secondary. And if you have a golf course that interests them or has challenges, that's where they will travel. Barbados,
it's all about the course.
Yeah, it's
all about the course.
You know, Barbados does fantastic. St. Lucia does good with their courses. Grenada, we need to get over that little hurdle. We just need, how should I say, maybe a sugar daddy in a sense.
Oh my goodness.
Where somebody to hold your hand and say, okay, we're going to do this. But I mean, as Grenadians, I think we need to come together, especially in this sector. I must basically tip my hat to Spice Basket, owners. They have taken a bold leap, and I think more Grenadians need to get involved like that, even if they don't have the money. Come together with a pool and create things in Grenada, because we are getting left behind. Right. The government is looking for these foreign investors, which, of course, if the climate isn't right, they will not come.
Right.
When investors come to Grenada, and we have heard Grenadians say that, oh, we're giving away the pie, they are business people. If they don't see an opportunity to make money, why am I coming to your country? Right. Somebody else is going to offer me. Right? So we as Grenadians, we need to sit back and say, listen, we have some money, why don't we pool those resources together, come as a consortium of business guys, and do something.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, we out of time, and we could sit down and chat about this all day. It's a very interesting conversation. Right here we are with Ian DaBreo of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association. Thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing that.
Thank you. Yes, a pleasure.
I'm sure we'll invite you back again sometime.
Yes.
We have plenty to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm sure you have more pretty shirts you're ready for.
I'm ready to.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. DaBreo.